Good morning, everyone. I want to make a follow-up video to the last one um, with about the Great Conjunction that is coming up on December 21st, 2020. I did it from Philadelphia at 9:22 a.m. Um, from the time that I got online, UTC time, Universal. I don't remember. I don't know, UTC time. So this is the chart for the Great Conjunction. So for those of you who don't know what the Great Conjunction is, it's the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn, which happens approximately every 20 years. And there are plenty of videos describing, in depth about the history of the Great Conjunction and why it matters. So I'm not going to go into that into too much detail. I will briefly discuss that every 20 years they conjunct, but they conjunct in the same element. So in 200-year cycles. So for the past 200-year cycles, past 200 years, they've been in Earth signs, Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus. And there are many parallels to be drawn between the past 200 years and the great conjunctions of Jupiter and Saturn in these signs, as far as relating to Earth, in that the past 200 years have largely been very Earth dominated. Building, skyscrapers, money, finance, practicality, building of business, capitalism, societies. It's been very earthy these past 200 years. And we are moving into an air cycle for the next 200 years. In sometime in 1980s, we had a great conjunction in Libra, and that ushered in so much technology, the computers, the internet, the cell phones, and all that. But it went back into Earth in, I think, 2000. And now we're having the next one in Aquarius, which is an air sign. And air represents technology, communication, logic, intellect, thinking, ideas, rationality. It represents the mind, if you will. And it's the air element. All the airy things are in the air modality. Aquarius, Gemini, Libra are the three air signs. These are the signs of communication, of trade, of fast technological ease and rapid thinking. Jupiter and Saturn as planets are sort of like, they're right next to each other. If the planets go from the sun out, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, then we go to Jupiter. And Mars is a rock solid planet. Jupiter is a gas giant. It's the biggest planet in our solar system. And Saturn is also a gas giant, slightly smaller than Jupiter, but still very large. And Saturn has the rings around it. But Jupiter and Saturn are next to each other. And traditionally, Saturn was thought of as the edge of the solar system. They couldn't see beyond Saturn, so they thought Saturn was the limit. Now we know there's further planets. We have the ice giants, Uranus and Neptune, and then Pluto at the far reaches of the solar system. And so what Jupiter and Saturn represent, Jupiter being the biggest planet and the kind of an explosion in size after Mars, which is much, much smaller. Jupiter represents expansion. Jupiter represents wealth, wisdom, knowledge, philosophy. It rules Sagittarius, so has very Sagittarian quality, very fiery. Jupiter is the teacher. Jupiter is the guru. Jupiter is abundance, extremely generous. Jupiter can represent the heart. the expansive nature of life, just living in abundance, and Jupiter makes things seem much bigger than they really are in its influence. It can be positive to the point of being unrealistic, even just overly exaggerating everything, blowing up everything beyond belief. So it's the planet that rules major expansion and abundance and excess in life. Saturn, on the other hand, with its rings and being smaller, both are like teachers, but Saturn is the teacher that teaches through contraction and discipline and structure. Saturn rules time. Saturn says no often. That's what, in life, Saturn restricts things. So like if you have a no in life, that's Saturn. Saturn will say no wherever Saturn sits, and say no, you have to work harder. And Saturn will push you. And Saturn is karma. Saturn brings karmic things to us. Saturn is like a general. Saturn is the trainer, the hard trainer. Saturn is the tough love of a parent, of an older authority figure. Saturn is the rule. Saturn is the law. Saturn is the boss, the big, nasty boss who rules with an iron fist, and ultimately means well, but may not be liked and probably doesn't even care. He's just the hard ass who's just going to push you, push you, push you. So these are the two sort of upper echelons of the teachers in our society. Beyond that, you have Uranus and Neptune, and these are not sort of earthly planets. I would say that Jupiter and Saturn are earthly planets in that they represent sort of figures in our life that are at the top. The experts, the law, the authorities, the teachers, the parents, the rulers, the presidents, the kings. These are like the top of the rulership. Beyond that, you have more spiritual influence, more like subtle, deep, energetic influences. So Jupiter and Saturn coming together, conjuncting, is a very special event. It's the yin and yang of the teachers, the hard teacher and the generous teacher. They're coming together. When things come together, they don't just blend. When things come together exactly in the right way, they don't just blend, they create something new, right? Like when man and woman come together in the right way, they create a baby. That's how creation works. When there's a real coming together, then something completely new comes out. So that's why these events are, in astrology, they're so hailed as something special, something unique, something to pay attention to, because when they come together, it's something new. There's a new thing created. It's not just Jupiter and Saturn, the same old effects, There's going to be something new created in Aquarius, right? So we're going to have a Jupiter-Saturn baby, Aquarian baby out of this, something new. And not only that, it's the first of the mutation, the Great Mutation it's called, because after this we have 200 years of conjunctions in air signs. And then it's marking the beginning of the technological age. We have not really entered the technological age. We just barely scratched the surface. So all things technologically related are going to, boom, expand mightily. You can think about computers and internet and AI, all these things, all the technology, robots, all that is just going to go boom, huge, big. And Aquarius represents societies in general. So this is going to have a major impact on society at large. Aquarius rules dystopian and utopian societies. And this is really interesting here that from Philadelphia, the Great Conjunction is happening right on the horizon. It will be rising in the east. That's what this means. as it happens. And that's pretty auspicious considering America was founded in Philadelphia for America. What else? And it's the other really super auspicious thing is that Sun is at 0 degrees Capricorn, closely conjuncting Mercury by 1 degree. This is a semi-sextile, but the degrees are so exact that it's worth noting. This is the winter solstice, December 21st, 2020, exactly 8 years after the Mayan calendar predicted, or ended rather, didn't predict anything, it ended at December 21st, 2012. So that's another synchronicity, you know, an exact time, an exact relationship. December 21st, December 21st, 8 years exact, right? Now what else? I wanted to show you guys the bigger picture, because it's not just 20 years, it's not just 200 years. This is actually, a lot of people are saying, if anything marks the entrance into the Aquarian age, it's this. Because this marks 200 years of air conjunctions in the Great Conjunction, but it's also, you know, the alignment with the Mayan calendar and with the precession of the equinox. This is the precession of the equinoxes. This is our solar system moving up and down through the galactic plane, the ecliptic, the flat. If the galaxy was a frisbee, our solar system would move under, and it would hit the middle point, and then it would go over. And that the full cycle is 26,000 years. Half this cycle is 13,000 years. Quarter cycle is 6,500 years. Okay, here it says 25,000, but it's actually closer to 26,000, 25,900 something. So roughly 26,000. And each one of these periods is 2,000. Actually more than 2,000 would have to be, but we're saying 2,000. And so we're entering the age of Aquarius from Pisces. So I just want to touch on this point a little bit. So we have some great people who marked the entrance into the age of Pisces, Jesus Christ being one of them, Buddha around the same time, and there were many others in the age of Pisces, throughout the age of Pisces, not just in the beginning, throughout the age of Pisces, so many. And what Pisces represents is this kind of this spirituality that predominated the past 2,000 years, religion, spirituality, these very high, powerful religious figures. But the other side of that is that there's huge delusion in Pisces, right? Pisces is the sign of fiction. So a lot of the people are just lost in their own fiction, most of the people. In fact, that, you know, fiction rules Pisces, or Pisces rules fiction. Pisces rules is a very creative sign, and we saw arts flourishing fantastically in the age of Pisces, and exalted art, you know, like, you know, Da Vinci and Picasso, and you know, the list goes on. I went to art school. I was into art for a while, and you know, art was very, very prominent in the age of Pisces, but it has that creative aspect. And the underside of that is that it has so much potential for delusion, because what Pisces really represents is the ocean, the vast ocean. And you can get lost in the ocean, and you don't come out of the ocean really, but you might run into a whale. And so we have these whale-like figures, you know, these Christs and these Buddhas and the Lao Tzus and the Mohammeds and the Moseses and all the different, you know, huge beings that showed up in the past 2,000 years. And then we have the rest of the masses who are just make religions out of these great figures, and they're deluded and they're dreaming. Pisces is the sign of dreams. So dreaming was the very, you know, these fantasy stories and creation, Hollywood, you know, just fiction upon fiction, lies and deceit and deception. That's the underbelly. So much potential for lies and deceit. And all of that, especially because it's on the underside. It's still on the underside of the dark light spectrum of the precession of the equinoxes. So the dark side was very much, dark side of Pisces was very much accented aspect in the past 2,000 years. And we have a lot of occultism, hidden occultism coming out of this era, stemming from before them, but very strong in the age of Pisces, occultism. Occultism is more Scorpio, 8th house, but it trines Pisces. They're both water, so it survives very well in Pisces. And dark evil occultism. And some of you know about that. So the deception is one of the things that was so strong in the age of Pisces. Now we're hitting the age of Aquarius. And Aquarius, things are, being an air sign, you can't hide like you can hide in water. So Aquarius is not the sign of deception. Aquarius is not the sign of hidden deceit and delusion. Aquarius, if anything, is the sign of enlightenment because it's ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is known as the great awakener. So here it says Christ's return, and some people have said, oh, at the great conjunction, there's going to be a great teacher born. I don't think so, because that's the Pisces paradigm. The Aquarian paradigm is that the Christ consciousness, the enlightened consciousness, is going to pervade over all of society. What's going to happen in the Aquarian civilization is more like what we're calling the Great Awakening, the mass awakening of society, where everyone is asleep in Pisces. The masses, they're all going to wake up in Aquarius. And we're going to have a very enlightened society in Aquarius. And remember, Aquarius rules dystopian and utopian societies. Socialism was a failed attempt at an Aquarian society, but we're going to have the real positive. And I know socialism has such a horrible history and rap, but there can be a great and very positive version of that, because once we have technology that's really emerging and rising and not being hidden and suppressed by the government like it is now, free energy. You know, we have free energy already. Some people think that's not true, but I'm pretty sure it is true, and that our government is just suppressing that technology. Well, all that technology is going to emerge in the age of Aquarius, and we're going to have free energy. And what does free energy mean? Well, free energy means that everything can be free, basically, because you can have, you know, free electricity, and then free transportation, and then the robots are going to be able to be powered, and the AI, and the houses are going to be able to be automated, and the food is going to be able to be automated, and everything's going to be automated, including education and healthcare. And excuse me. And people are going to have their lives to decide what they want to do. They can, you know, piss off and travel around the world for years, or they can go and study and help people, because, you know, if food and housing and electricity and the basic necessities are taken care of without making anyone a slave, which is what the old paradigm was in socialism, like it involves slavery, because you have to have some people who are growing the food, some people who are, you know, healing others and being doctors and teaching, and they're slaves to the state. That won't be the case anymore, because you have free energy. Free energy is the core of this great Aquarian civilization, right? And that's going to happen. That's a reality that will happen. And the people will become enlightened, and they will take time off to go and travel, to see the whole world, and then they'll go and study out of their own volition, study the thing that their heart wants to, without any concern for their basic necessities being met. They're going to study and learn, and then there'll be, you know, doctors and lawyers and teachers and, you know, musicians and artists and whatever, everything, because people are just going to study what they want to study. And there's not going to be any pressure to survive. And there still will be currency, of course, because, you know, there are, you know, there's multi-levels to this. There can be currency for certain things that go above and beyond basic necessities, but everyone will have the bottom line of basic necessities being met in an Aquarian age, right? So this is, Aquarius represents the Christ consciousness over all of society. And it's on the lights. This is all light. This is all positive. So all of these are representing the positive aspects of these signs, because every sign has this positive and negative aspect. So this is the positive aspect of Aquarius, the positive aspect of Capricorn, the positive aspect of Sagittarius, and so on. This is all the light side, the bright side of all of these signs. For 2,000 years, though, we don't have to worry about anything except Aquarius, the age of enlightenment. That's what we're entering into, the golden age. Okay. So I just wanted to give you guys the big picture of what we are up against. I mean, really soon, December 21st, 2020, this year marks this turning point into the age of Aquarius. I mean, this is huge, huge, huge celebration. We are moving into the age of Aquarius. We are moving into the upper half of the galactic plane, the ecliptic, on the precession of the equinoxes. 13,000 years of light, and we're overcoming 13,000 years of darkness. So that's huge. That's absolutely, phenomenally huge. 26,000 years is a long, long time. 13,000 years is a long, long time. Okay. So now that we put it in context, the scope, the sheer magnitude of what we are facing right now, and to give you guys hope and positivity, because it's an incredibly positive thing that's going on. We're birthing into a new age, golden age. Okay, so now I want to compare the Great Conjunction with the, this is a synastry chart with United States, America. So how's the Great Conjunction going to affect America? Because I live in America, and America is, a lot of people have their eyes on America, especially with the Sun and Mercury in the ascendant on December 21st, 2020, and the South Node as well. All eyes on America. This is America's ascendant and in its first house. So wherever the sun is, that's where the attention is. That's where the brightest light is. So people are going to be looking at America, at America's identity. And South Node indicates a familiarity, a comfortability, but also like a passing, sort of like been there, done that, which is interesting. So it sort of represents something that America, this signifies, in a sense, the passing of the American identity. Not necessarily the passing. I'm not saying America's over. I'm saying that the American identity is sort of, with this Great Conjunction, there's something going on here where America's identity is going to have to be rewritten, because South Node represents the past, not the future. South Node represents something that we are no longer attached to and something that we are letting go. Like when we graduate high school or college, we don't go back and we say, oh, that's my, alma mater, or whatever you want to say. That's where I used to go to school. And it's the past. So America's identity is in this Great Conjunction, this great turning point. America's identity is definitely changing. Now, the Great Conjunction itself is happening in America's second house. And look at the proximity of Pluto to America's natal Pluto, which, by the way, America is having its Pluto return in 2022, February of 2022. America will have its Pluto return. And that's karmic retribution for America. We're feeling it already. We're going to keep feeling it for these next several years. 2022, February, will be at the height. And there could be some great destruction at that time. In the second house, which represents wealth, material assets, values. So this could be buildings, the destruction, literally the destruction of buildings, of skyscrapers, of land, of worth, of value, of the economy, of business. Second house, worth, okay? But at the same time, so Pluto's creation and destruction. At the same time, we're having the Great Conjunction right in the second house as well. And this is America's South Node, so it's almost like a full return for America. America's definitely reaping its karma here. And this is a rebirth. This is something of a rebirth. We're seeing destruction and creation at the same time. It doesn't mean America's over, but it does mean America's going through deep, deep, deep transformations. That's what Pluto represents, deep transformation. Destroying first, and then out of the ashes grows something new. And this is what is coming out of the ashes. Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius at 0 degrees Aquarius. very prominent. And so society is strongly aspected here, you know, positive Aquarian society. Economy, Jupiter represents wealth. The second house represents wealth. New economy, new digital economy. I've been saying this, guys. If you want to put your money somewhere, look into crypto, because I'm telling you, Aquarius represents technology. Jupiter represents wealth. Second house represents wealth. The economy is going to be overwritten. Digital currency, digital everything is going to take off. It will. And once Uranus moves into Gemini in 2026, forget it, it's over. It's over. Like, if you don't get in by then, you're going to see the rise of the crypto billionaires. Not joking. Get in now. Okay, that's my little financial advice. I'm not a financial guru. I'm an astrologer and I'm an occultist, so I know these things. Okay. I already talked about this. Media is absolutely insane right now. Neptune in Neptune in Pisces, along with the moon. Around that time, the media is going to just be completely insane. The media will just be 100% insane. So look out for that. They will be in the loony bin. This is a sign of, you know, if you're not grounded in spirituality with Neptune and Moon in Pisces, you're just going to be insane. And the media is definitely not grounded in spirituality, because this is the house of the media, the third house of communications. I mean, wherever there's potent, strong combinations, Neptune rules Pisces. Then you have to be, it can go either way. And the media is just going to be insane. So look out for ultra fake news. Mars is hitting Chiron, causing great pain, because Mars in Aries is very aggressive, and these are the vulnerable. This is at home. This is the past. These are the minorities. So not just the minorities. The individual is also the minority. So it's not just like, I'm not just speaking about like non-white people. I don't come from that perspective. This is, everyone is individually is a minority, and minority groups also. So, you know, I have compassion for all people. I'm not like, oh, you know, like, if you're white, then you don't suffer. Only non-white people. No, none of that. We all suffer. We're all human. We all bleed red. You know. So here, the North Node is conjuncting Mars, and this is pointing to aggression, strong aggression, and strong verbal aggression, physical attacks, verbal, just, you know, verbal onslaught of abuse coming from just wherever. I mean, it's in the seventh house, so it represents others. But others can be just division within itself. It could just be America versus America, you know, one side of America versus another side of America. Just division, just, you know, people arguing, people fighting, people, you know, just not having any sort of limitations on their verbal abuse. Gemini is very verbal. Gemini is very intellectual. But Gemini is divided in itself. So this could represent just so much arguments, and within the media, without the media, just everyone just fighting verbally and just spewing very aggressive stuff upon each other, all sides. Anyway, guys, that's the Great Conjunction on America. Technology to the forefront, digital everything, you know, Aquarian, utopian society, enlightened society, Christ consciousness on all of society. That's where we're at. We are in the age of light. We're in the golden age. We can already, I mean, I can already feel it. I hope you can already feel it. It's already here. You know, be grounded in spirituality, because that's what this calls for. Otherwise, you're going to go insane, like the media is. And guard your mouth. stop fighting. That's what all this is pointing to. There's going to be huge economic upsets with all this within the next few years. And there's going to be regulations over the digital currency because Saturn rules the law and Saturn rules regulations. But many new things are going to come out of this, the technological age. The technological age is here. We're going to have so much. I'm predicting free energy. I'm predicting free energy for the whole world, not in the not too distant future. I'm predicting a utopian society. I'm predicting a new paradigm of not socialism, but just the humanitarian equality, where it's going to be a huge evolution, a huge step up, because the socialism that we've come to know is the dark side, the dysfunctional side of Aquarius. It's not. It was, it was the prelude. But it was not ripe. It was not ready. We're going to have something much, much better, something that really works for everyone. That's what Aquarius calls for. It's calling for the real humanity for all of society, Christ consciousness upon everyone, the great awakening for everyone, everyone. No more delusions. We're all going to wake up. We're going to have an enlightened society. Okay? That's what this is about. That's why I'm making these videos. It's so, so exciting. I'm like out of my mind with joy, and exuberance for everything that's coming, because this is where it's always darkest before the light, and this is the arrow being pulled back before shot forward. You always have to pay some dues, but I know things are dark right now, but that's just because we're about to be flooded with so much light. We don't even know what to do with ourselves. That's a reality. That's happening. The great awakening of the whole world is upon us. It's here. It's already here. So, yeah, I'm super happy to share this with you guys. This is a reality. This is happening. So, all right. Thank you.